welcome all of you to this year's CANSO Asia Pacific Conference in this bustling and vibrant city of Jakarta. As they say in Bahasa Indonesia, a very warm selamat datang to all of you. This conference is the one event of the year that unites the ANSPs of the Asia Pacific region. And today we have with us one of the largest turnout of CEOs and their senior staff of ANSPs across the region. The theme of this year's conference is transforming ATM performance through innovation and collaboration. It's about the need for positive change in the ATM industry and how we can better prepare ourselves for an exciting future by working together and working smarter. How the future unfolds for this region will depend on whether we are able to turn the challenge of growth into opportunities that will benefit not only the industry, but economies and the people that we serve.
But I would also like to thank PT and CANSO Bureau 2 for kindly hosting this conference, and also to our sponsors for their generous and invaluable support, without which these sorts of events are very difficult to sustain. Our focus at CANSO is very much on performance and on delivery. Only that will drive us towards the vision of seamless airspace globally. But as we were discussing this morning with the Vice Minister, this will only happen if everybody works in partnership across the industry, across state boundaries. That's why this conference is so timely and appropriate for Asia Pacific. And the region has already made a great start on partnership through ADSP implementation over the South China Sea and Bay of Bengal. This year, we celebrate only the 5th anniversary of the opening of the CANSO Asia Pacific Regional Office in 2008. Thanks to my good friend Mai, we've made good progress here. We've expanded from 4 members now to 15, and we anticipate growing that membership even further, and that's really important to get a critical mass of air navigation service providers working together in the region. So we are particularly pleased to welcome to this conference 2 new member air navigation service providers, Airport Fiji Limited and Japan Civil Aviation.
Cargo aircraft and aircraft. CANSO Bureau 2 keeps striving to turn our airports into world-class airports. Therefore, it is part of our commitment. We join very significant international organizations such as CANSO and Airport Council International. Both organizations become a unity in harmony with the core business and corporate vision of CANSO Bureau 2, so we cannot be excluded or separated. Ladies and gentlemen, facing the dynamic aviation world and world market demand, CANSO Bureau 2 keeps building a respectful relationship with the Indonesian government, particularly implementation of open sky policy. Without any collaboration and good coordination between airport operators and its stakeholders, it will be more difficult to apply this regulation, but we are very sure the existing of Air Navigation Indonesia, or Air Navigation, our LPPNPE, a new organization that established by government on January 16, 2013, will bring a good hope to apply open sky policy. In terms of preparation for the airport operators in particular, we did accelerate development in all sectors of the airports through investment projects and facilities and services annually and multi-years. My esteemed guest, in the framework of the theme of the conference, that is improving ATM performance through innovation and collaboration, we will esteemed to be the host for CANSO Asia Pacific Conference in 2013, this time. CANSO has an important role in an Asia Pacific growth and development of air traffic services because of increased rate of economy, with increasing a huge demand of air traffic. travelers and also challenges by a low-cost airline phenomenon. Nowadays, airline challenges was covering premium services airline also. It shows we must speed up developing all sectors of the airport facilities to give our best services for passengers' convenience. CANSO has a stake in Asia Pacific that plays their rightful role in shaping the air traffic within the region to achieve the global safety performance with a similar understanding that safety is our paramount concern. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuing our sustainable safety record in recent enormous growth of air traffic is very challenging. That is why we are developing a new structure of airspaces, airports, human resources, and upgrading the communication, navigation, and surveillance system. Above all, CANSO must build bridges between our people in civil aviation by increased collaboration among our air traffic controllers, engineers, and ANSP by working together to foster a cooperation and coordination in airspace and airport researchers based on the partnership of equals, grounded in mutual interest and mutual benefit. These are the issues that really matter in our daily lives. May this remarkable event should make us optimistic and then believe that our cooperation and coordination will bring us to an excellent safety achievement of air traffic in both nations. Before the end of my address, with a truly sincere, please kindly Vice Minister of Transportation to officially open this conference. Thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice Minister of Transportation, Republic of Indonesia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me add my warm welcome to all of you to the CANSO Asia Pacific Conference. I'm very happy to note that we do have a record crowd at this year's conference. I would also like to add my appreciation to Angkasa Pura II for hosting this conference. As you know, Angkasa Pura II became a member of CANSO only last year, and I'm very happy that they have stepped up to the plate very early to host this conference. And of course, we are holding this conference in the beautiful city of Jakarta, and just from yesterday's dinner reception, and of course, based on the arrangements, I must thank Angkasa Pura II and of course Air Navigation of Indonesia for your excellent arrangements and warm hospitality.
Mr. Jeff Poole, Director General, CANSO, Mr. Yap Yong Hang, Chairman, Asia Pacific CANSO, Chiang Hai-en, Director, Asia Pacific Affairs, and dear participants attending this conference. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. This is a great privilege for me to be able to speak before this august gathering of participants from all across our aviation world, regulators, operators, and I assume our business partners are also here, and stakeholders. My presentation contains two parts. First, I will talk about the developments in innovation and collaboration in the face of increasing ATM challenges. And in the second part, I will briefly touch upon the needs of developing states to improve their ATM efficiency.
like to express our sincere gratitude for the international support in our recovery process. And as one of Japanese, I'd like to say again, sincerely, thank you for your support. Arigato. Well, I'm pleased to be here on this conference as our JCAB is formally welcomed into CANSO. I'd like to introduce everyone to our JCAB as newcomer. This is a Military of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism Organization chart. There are many bureaus. Japan Civil Aviation Bureau, JCAB, is one of bureau in this ministry. This is a JCAB organization chart. JCAB still wear two caps. Aviation Safety and Security Department is in charge of regulate function, and the Navigation Service Department is in charge of provide function.
Chairman, delegates, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I know we are all hungry, so I'll speed up my speech. Indeed, this is a great day, beautiful day. We have tasted the delicious cafe, Indonesian cafe, at the break time, and we have shared valuable information that we all need for further collaboration years ahead. It is a great pleasure to be with you today, and I am honored to be here to introduce Airnav Indonesia as a newly born Indonesian air navigation single provider. Thanks to CANSO, especially to Mr. Chiang, we are not a member yet, but we already feel as being a part of this big family, valuable organization and very important organization. Previously, ANS in Indonesia was provided by 3 different organizations, PT Angkasa Pura I, PT Angkasa Pura II, and Directorate General of Civil Aviation of the Ministry of Transportation, or DGCA. Our government acknowledged by this unique system generate various differences in operation, procedures, system and equipment, education and training, and the level of salaries which create disharmony in the whole system. Under these circumstances, based on the Law Number 1/2009, the Government of Indonesia created a single ANS provider through the implementation of the Law Number 77, September 2012. The Board of Directors of Airnav Indonesia was appointed on 16 January 2013, which consists of 6 directors, led by a President Director, who are reporting to both the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises and the Minister of Transportation. Since then, Angkasa Pura I and Angkasa Pura II is focusing on airport service, DGCA is focusing on regulation, and Airnav Indonesia is focusing on safety and service of air traffic services. At this very moment, we are carrying out the transition timetable, the transfer of employees, facilities, and assets that targeted to be done by the end of the year. A friend of mine, my colleague, used to use this term as a kind of building a highway connected many different roads. It derives various inconvenience at the beginning, but at the end, it will provide smooth and efficient route structure which benefit all parties and stakeholders.
actually to give the introduction and the boring speech, and then let you be dazzled by the innovative presentations of my two colleagues here. So there we go. Okay, as we know, and as I just mentioned, aviation is a rapidly changing industry. You know, technology, business models, the operating environment, everything's changing. And business as usual is not an option. That's almost a slogan for everybody, I think. And that applies even in our industry, where ANSPs can be natural monopolies. Business as usual is just not an option. So, as the global association for ANSPs and others in air navigation service provision, CANSO must lead and drive positive change. And that's why, you know, we have a strong motivation for, as we say, transforming global ATM performance. Transformation and positive change can only come from innovation, and innovation is the only thing that's going to help with our collective vision of achieving seamless airspace globally. The first question, therefore, is what and how to innovate. Many people wrongly associate innovation wholly or mainly with R&D and new technology. This is certainly one part of the picture, but in fact there are three big areas of innovation that will have a game-changing impact on our industry. They are automation, collaborative decision-making combined with air traffic flow management, and information management. So the first one of those, automation, will be the big technological game changer in the next few years. Aircraft have had automation for the past 30 years, but air traffic management is now only really starting that journey. And we will see more machine-to-machine interaction, enabling us to fly planes closer together and build capacity.
Thank you, and let me join my thanks from this morning for our hosts, NAV and EP2. Your hospitality has been almost overwhelming from the minute we stepped off the aircraft, so let me add my thanks to you for such a warm welcome. Let me also thank the speakers from this morning, because I'm incredibly conscious that for many of the speakers, English is not your first language, and I thought every single speaker did an outstanding job in clarifying and providing leadership for the Asia Pacific region, so an outstanding job there. And finally, while I'm passing on thanks, it would be remiss not to acknowledge Hai Eng. Hai Eng is the person who makes the Asia Pacific region happen. He's the convener of this conference, and he's also decided that wasn't enough. He's decided to be the facilitator of every session. So Hai Eng really does a remarkable job, and I always enjoy recognising the service you provide to this region, Hai Eng. I'm also conscious that as a member of CANSO ExCom, my new DG should be a lead that I should follow very closely, and Jeff has already outlined that he sees innovation in three areas: automation, collaboration, and information management. So I'm delighted to announce that I'm not going to talk about any of those. I'm going to instead take quite a different approach and actually challenge everybody in the audience as to whether those two words, ATM innovation, can belong in the same sentence. There's a lovely Greek word called oxymoron, meaning a contradiction in terms. I don't think the ATM industry collectively is innovative until we get to the source of what, as Jeff has described, stifles and limits innovation in our business. And that's really where I would like to focus my conversation this afternoon, is really on our business models. We are an industry of innumerable safe straight lines, repeated hour by hour, day after day, and reassuringly a long way from other industry management techniques like discretion or lateral thinking and creativity. If you look at the Business Dictionary's definition of innovation, it further emphasises how far this process is from today's ATM world. As we said, we are leaving status quo, but we're into an uncertain future. The Business Dictionary's definition of innovation is the process of translating an idea or invention into a good or a service that creates value or for which customers will pay.
Well, as the final speaker of the panel, I'm tempted to say that the first two speakers have covered all the points that I intend to say, so there's not much else I can say. But on the contrary, I'm encouraged both by the panel this morning and the two speakers before me of the diversity of views. I mean, it just struck me so interesting that, given the same topic, we can really approach the topic from such different angles. I mean, Ed has taken a more organizational approach to the issue of innovation. Jeff has highlighted the what and how to innovate. I have a slightly different thing, but the other encouraging thing is that we do have areas of overlap, which means that we do have areas of convergence, and that gives us hope that there's something that we can work together. So, if I have my slides here. Alright, okay. Before I launch into some comments about innovation, let me make some remarks about performance first. Because to me, innovation is a means to an end. And in our context, that end is ATM performance. But performance is potentially a sensitive topic. If you don't believe me, just ask the guy seated next to you how he's performing. Nobody likes to be judged. Nobody likes to be put under the microscope to be scrutinized. But yet, ANSPs are asked to be, exposed to performance measurement. But we also accept that in management, what gets measured gets done. If we don't measure it, how do we know how well we're doing, or whether any new initiative or innovations that introduce are making a difference? So we need to start with performance measurement. In a way, ANSPs are used to safety performance being measured. They're subject to a series of ICAO safety audits, and sometimes all these safety audits have helped us as ANSPs to improve our service provision, to make whatever we do a lot safer. And we have benefited from being judged, being measured. But when it comes to efficiency measurement, we tend to be a bit more circumspect. If you can stay away from being judged on performance, efficiency performance, you would rather stay away from being judged on efficiency performance.
Good afternoon, fellow delegates. I would like to begin by thanking CANSO, the Director General Jeff Poole, for the opportunity to participate in a discussion that is critically important to the success of aviation in our region. I would like to thank our host, Patrick Sunoko, President Director of ANCASAR Pura 2. I would also like to acknowledge ANCASAR Pura 1 and our new friends, or new organisation, old friends, AirNav Indonesia, and Indonesia's Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Can I also thank you for a very warm welcome in this beautiful country, Indonesia, and its capital, Jakarta. I would also like to recognise Hanging Cheng and thank you for facilitating this panel, like all the panels today. Thank you. And I think you'll all agree that Hang has played an important role in bringing us together at events like this one here in Jakarta, so thank you very much. Asia Pacific is arguably the world's most diverse region in terms of service delivery, technical capability, and culture. We are all aware of the significant growth in our region and the challenges and opportunities this presents to all of us collectively. We heard today some of the numbers, but I've added some for myself. Traffic growth is expected to average almost 7% a year through to 2030. We are seeing China and India as the world's fastest growing aviation markets, and as a result, fueling much of the growth in our region. This type of growth is consistent across the Asia Pacific. At home in Australia, I have to say, in Jakarta, in Bangkok, Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, all recording significant growth in recent years. As I said, in Australia back home, we are seeing significant passenger movement growth, and passenger movement alone are forecast to more than double in the next 20 years, so from 135 million to 279 million. With such a dramatic increase have come calls for greater ATM reform and cooperation, which I think should be a shared goal across our region. The concept of collaboration, especially the term collaborative decision-making, or CDM, as we've heard today, has become a commonly used word in aviation in recent years
especially amongst our organisations. But what does that really mean for us? And how will collaboration drive the transformation of ATM performance across the Asia-Pacific region? So to begin with, I will state my position. I firmly believe in collaboration as a genuine effort to work together for the achievement and realisation of shared goals.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to me for the topic of discussions about the performance transformations, ATA performance through the collaborations. For today, I think I try to give the meeting with the ideas and not really an ideas, I would say that the experience that I have been worked through in terms of corporations and what on the operational side to see the benefits of the corporations for our aviation industry. As myself, I've been seeing the progress of corporations start from the major coordination group meetings. That was more than 10 years. And at those times, one side tried to put forward the ideas and another side tried to disagree or defend because of the various reasons on their own purpose. But at those days, we may say it's like collaboration or coordination, but we can see the difficulties both days. But nowadays, those kind of corporations probably change into the new environment that we have. I would say the world now is smaller, and pretty much smaller than before. That's because of the technology and others, the traffic growth, and also the concept of operations that we couldn't work alone. So, on my presentations, I would touch a little bit about the how we face with the traffic growth in our country. So, yeah, start with outline, raise the cover topic, the traffic challenge that we facing, the concept of operations, again the serious ATM operations in the futures, and the challenge of corporations. Those three measures: cooperation internally, the cross industry, and cross borders. And also the address the challenge of collaborations in the present day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, we have been hearing traffic growth challenges, innovation, and improvement in the traffic management, which is a necessary requirements to optimize your performance. Unless the performance improvement takes place, the ATM will suffer. The ATM itself is a process of collaboration. We collaborate on each and every air traffic control functions, air traffic management functions within the organizations. But also, intra and inter ANSP collaboration is also an essential requirement. Aviation itself is a very cost intensive and highly vulnerable industry. We have been talking in the morning. There have been difficult situations in the past which we have overcome with our performance improvement. So every stakeholder will have to put their resources and optimize their performance so that we can improve our ATM performance as a whole and support the industry. In that, ANSP performance is a key element in the entire spectrum. So the collaboration, how it works, how we can improve, and what are the challenges, how the collaboration efforts have provided some results in our Indian perspective is the highlight of this presentation. We have been talking until recently the ANSP cooperation. And the collaboration is a new invention. Recently we started talking about collaboration. The cooperation is only an attitude, but not an arrangement. Whereas the collaboration is an arrangement with the desired vision and shared goal. So there is a major difference. We have migrated from cooperation to collaboration. So what are the basis for collaboration? We need to have a common shared vision, where we want to go and how to go. And sharing of resources, information, and synchronization of system planning and implementation is the key for successful collaboration. We have to respect each other, the sovereignty and the state responsibility, also the national security requirements and confidentiality. There is no room for dominancy, there is no room for imposing anything on each other, and there is no room for exploiting each other. So our ultimate objective is win-win for everyone. We have to work within the common code of conduct for achieving the successful collaboration. So the code of requirements involves government level, management level, and inter-state issues and regulatory issues. Morning we will be talking about the regulatory issues. The collaboration is essentially a part of regulatory and the service point of view. There is a need for extensive collaboration. In fact, the regulatory requirement will have to be part of the service provision. We should have our own internal regulatory provisions, regulatory functions, so that we will be able to demonstrate to the regulator, yes, we are complying with all the regulatory requirements.
Thank you for the invitation to talk today. Colleagues, thank you Indonesia for your hospitality and the speakers. This is a challenging region. As Naomi said, we work right across the region with many states on many issues, and we see our role as to clearly identify the user requirements, what we expect from the system, but also to work closely with the service providers and provide some direct support to the initiatives that improve the airline industry. And I have immense admiration for the nations of Asia Pacific and the challenges that they face. And it almost seems that the bigger the challenge, then the more they pull themselves up by their bootstraps, so to speak. And we've seen that in a number of states over the last 5 to 10 years. And Mr. Sumas, my colleague, Mr. Sumas spoke about the improvements in India, in Mumbai and Delhi, and the air traffic management, and huge achievements there. China is emerging from what do we do now to how do we do it. And we will see over the next 4 to 5 years some huge improvements in China, plus an outward-looking state that will look beyond their boundaries as they need to do. The Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong triumvirate, and I can see Indonesia with the NAV coping with the issues in the future. Aviation and tourism represents around about 2.4% of regional GDP, and that's a lot of jobs. It's a lot of wealth to the nations, it's a lot of jobs. Undeniably, the growth is challenging the capacity of the air traffic management infrastructure.
It's certainly been a long day, so I intend to be brief. I shan't keep you away from the gala dinner that has been planned for you this evening. I must also beg pardon of those who I may not captured in terms of the key points that you have made in your presentations and the discussions that have ensued. Quite clearly, acknowledgement is that aviation is closely tied to economic growth. Aviation is certainly a key driver of both the national economy as well as the global economy. And with economic growth, there is increase in air travel demand and therefore also boosts the aviation industry. Another acknowledgement, of course, is that there is going to be phenomenal air traffic growth in the Asia Pacific, and this will bring pressures on capacity, safety, efficiency, and environmental sustainability. So it is quite clear that every stakeholder needs to do its part to ensure the transformation of air traffic management in the Asia Pacific. I think as mentioned, business as usual in air traffic management is not an option. And when we talk about ATM transformation in the Asia Pacific, we're talking about modernization of the ATM system as well as harmonization across the region to raise performance not only in operations, but also in safety. Here, of course, we have before us a global framework that has been established by ICAO at the 12th Air Navigation Conference, the Aviation Systems Block Upgrade Framework that now forms a key part of the revised Global Air Navigation Plan that will be put to the ICAO Assembly later this year for adoption. And it's also quite clear that what is required of us is regional implementation. This is key. But there are challenges. In this region, there is a diversity of states and administrations in terms of cultures, histories, and in terms of the different levels of ATM maturity. There's also a scarcity of resources, whether it is in manpower or in finance. But one thing that I've taken away from this conference is the strong commitment of all to work towards ATM transformation in the Asia Pacific. And here I see a complementary top-down and bottom-up approaches. Firstly, the Asia Pacific Seamless ATM Plan is being developed with 6 priority ASBU modules being detailed on. And there is also work, for example, on an ATM harmonization plan for seamless ASEAN Sky, as the Thai DGCA has briefed us this morning, and also on an East Asia ATFM initiative and further initiatives beyond that, which our friend from Japan, Civil Aviation Bureau, has shared also this morning. Of course, in addition to regional implementation, we are also looking into implementation by states and ANSPs. Now, there are 2 areas that we focus on in this conference. One is innovation and the other collaboration. On innovation, I'm happy to listen to a full range of ideas. Ideas with regards to a change of mindset, for example, on civil-military cooperation. I think here there is an acknowledgement that civil-military cooperation, Sir Jeff Gould, Director General of CANSO, has come out very strongly to say that CANSO is committed to driving transformation in ATM performance. And for myself, as the Vice Chairman of the CANSO Executive Committee, I would certainly like to affirm that. And this ATM performance, transformation ATM performance, will certainly apply to the Asia Pacific region. CANSO can certainly provide a platform for sharing of best practices, as well as a platform for benchmarking. But more than that, we think that CANSO can certainly play an active role in the Asia Pacific, specifically with regards to the implementation of the Asia Pacific Seamless ATM Plan, with priorities on ATFM, CDM, flexible use of airspace, moving from AIS to AIM, the implementation of ADSB, and of course the implementation of PDM. So there's certainly a lot that I think CANSO can do in this region, working with all the stakeholders. And of course, when we talk about collaboration, we also see CANSO partnering with ICAO, IATA, ACI, and many of the other associations also in bringing about seamless ATM in the Asia Pacific. I just want to end off by thanking all the speakers as well as participants. You've given a full day of your time here, and I appreciate very much the comments and the questions raised and the very rich discussions that we have had. And of course, I want to thank again Akasapura 2 for hosting this conference, and I should thank them also for the gala dinner that will be held this evening. Certainly, we are in exciting times. There's a lot for us to do, and it remains for me to urge all of us to work together, hand in hand, to transform ATM in the Asia Pacific.
Pleased and honored and privileged, I should say, to be hosting the CANSO conference in 2014. And I thought I'd just begin with thanking our gracious host for a wonderful event organized, and thought I would quickly whet your appetite with some slides of what Sri Lanka is all about. The geographic location, for those of you who may not know where Sri Lanka is. The three major airports will be flying into South America, and Hambantota in the south is the latest airport, which was commissioned in March of 2018. And some of the conference and hotel accommodations that we'll be looking into. A hotel that was constructed in 1864 during the colonial times. The newest hotel there, which I believe would be the conference location. And some slides of the new airport, the new international airport. Has a capacity of 1 million passenger movements annually, going up to 5 million. And some places of interest to us, just getting some distances. The holy city called Kapragama. So wildlife sanctuaries close to the southern airport. Arugam Bay, surfer's paradise, considered to be one of the best surfing sites in the world. Coral Reef, certainly not the Australian, but close to it. And of course the hill country where the blue tea comes from. And for those of you who would be interested in semi-precious stones, this will be the location to obtain that. And I look forward to once again inviting all of you all to Sri Lanka next year, probably, I believe it's in May of next year, and welcoming all of you individually. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremy, for confirming Sri Lanka's offer to host next year's CANSO Asia Pacific Conference in Colombo, and I'm sure all of us are very much looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, one final announcement. The conference dinner tonight is hosted by Angkasa Pura 2, and the dress code is smart casual. So please be at the hotel lobby by 6:30 and not 7, as stated in the program. So tomorrow, the workshop, please come in smart casual as well, gentlemen without the coat and tie. Thank you very much.